Hey everybody! Here for Growing Up Hip Hop Season 2, Episode 1. Let's get into it. First of all, let me say this episode was very intense and it was a good sorry, I'm trying to check because I had a bump on my face. It was bleeding. Um It was good because it was just like a lot of like awkward moments because last season left with a crazy cliffhanger with Angela being stalked and a supposed threesome between Romeo, Christinia, and her friend Ashley or something like that. But let's just get into this because this episode was wow. So it starts off, of course, with Romeo, and he's meeting up with his friend Kendrick. He's back from shooting a movie in Mexico. Okay. And he's happy to be back because he was in Mexico. He was away from his family and friends, and now he's just happy to be back, where he belongs with his family and friends and everything. So they put the I'm sorry, that going bump got me feeling self-conscious because I think it's still I'm sorry y'all. Look, keeping it real right now. But yeah, what happened? What happened? So they put. Let me just say this, y'all. Master P annoys me because in this scene, in this little scene right here, you could tell he really be putting on for the cameras. Like it's like he be ready. To me, it looks like, and most reality shows are scripted. We know this for a fact, or situational as they like to call it. But Master P really puts on for the cameras because he did the same thing last season. And we get to him in this scene and he's sitting here in his office with a suit on, a no limit tie, his hat backwards, and he's smoking a cigar with a mountain full of paperwork on his desk. And he's just sitting there. His lawyer's on the phone. He like, yeah, yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, we gonna talk about this. We're gonna discuss this. He back in town now, so this is crazy. She could take our whole empire. All right, man, I'll call you back. Hang up, and then he back on the cigar like. It's crazy. And I'm just sitting here looking at this scene like, you are really just putting on for the cameras. Like, you just want to showcase how important you are. And I mean, not to say that Master P is not important. I'm pretty sure he's still running his no limit business, but dude, be yourself. I was so annoyed watching this scene, and I'm like, you know what, WeTV, me and you about to fight. Because, well, me and y'all, we about to fight. Because if this is how it's going to be all season, I'm going to be annoyed every episode. So now we get to Angela and Vanessa. And the big story this season is going to be about Angela and her engagement and her announcing she pregnant and whatnot. So they're going to Andre King's party. While they're getting dressed or whatever, Angela goes on her Instagram and, because she posted that she got engaged. So, the whole internet is up in an uproar. You got people asking her personal questions because Angela put it out there years ago that she was a virgin and she was waiting until marriage to have sex. Because Rev Run is her dad. He's a reverend. That's what he believes in. But, people have this misconception that all preachers' kids are supposed to be, saved, sanctified, and holy. Like, no, they're human too. They have needs. They have basic human needs just like the rest of us. And they make mistakes just like the rest of us. So whether Angela is or was a virgin before all of this is nobody's business. And I'm kind of glad that Angela wants to keep her private life private. I'm glad that she doesn't want to go into details about her relationships or whatever. Because, every time she's been in a relationship with somebody, it's always been something like a negative following behind it. Like she was with Terry Kennedy years ago, and then she was with Bow Wow, and and everybody was like, well, when she was with Bow Wow, she was busting it open or whatever. But I'm like, if she was, then that's her business. Like, like what goes on in a celebrity's private life, and that's the sad part, because celebrities live their life very much in the public, but a lot of them like to keep, they like to hold on to their privacy. A lot of them try to, so I applaud Angela for wanting to keep her private life private. And, she's like, listen, it is what it is. People will see who I'm with soon. I'm just trying to keep my relationship to myself, to keep, just because it's mine. I don't have to share everything with the public. So, she's showing off the engagement ring, and Vanessa's asking her if oh, did you tell Romeo? And she's like, no, I haven't told him, because he's been out of the states, doing his thing or whatever. But he did text me, hey, Miss Simmons, and I just forgot to reply back. And she was like, oh, so he texted you the day that you got engaged? She's like, yeah. She said, you know what, it's like he knew what was happening. So, Angela is like, well, he might be at Andre's party tonight. I don't know. We'll see. So we get to Christinia and Boogie, and they're on their way to Andre King's party as well, and they find out that Angela's engaged. So they're like, wow, that's out of the blue. They're like, well, who's the guy that she's engaged to? That's the question of the night. Who's the guy that she's engaged to? The main questions is, who is she engaged to, and if she's still a virgin? That's been the question this whole episode. So now we get to Andre King's birthday bash. Andre King is actually Swiss Beats' brother. And, Swiss Beats is a producer who's, married to Alicia Keys. I still side eye that relationship. Call me petty. I don't care. I still side eye that relationship. But anyway, I'm not going to go into details. I'm going to go continue my review. So, he's married to Alicia Keys. We all know who Swiss Beats is. Super producer, rapper, himself or whatever. So, Boogie, Christinia, and TJ are there. They do a Snapchat moment where they're taking pictures or whatever, and then they start talking about Angela's engagement. So, TJ's like, well, did Romeo give her that ring? I want to know who gave her that ring. And, they're just asking questions. And then they start talking about the whole, they were like, well, Christinia, when's the last time you saw Romeo? She's like, the last time I saw Romeo was the last time I saw Ange. And, when they said that, it was kind of awkward, because remember, last season left on a cliffhanger with Christinia, like, implying that her and Romeo and her friend would have a threesome, and Angela stormed off. That's when Angela stormed off and got in her car or whatever. But then when she got home, I guess her stalker was following her or something like that. So, Christinia is like, listen, it's been rumors going around that I had a threesome with Romeo. I'm going to put those rumors to rest. No, we did not have a threesome. I will admit I was tipsy that night, and, we were having fun, but no, we did not have no type of threesome. So there, we can move on from it. We could squash it. We can move on from it. So Angela finally arrives, and, she's hanging out in the party, and, Swiss Beats introduces his brother, and Andre King is an actor, model, host, and entertainer. He wants to, he sees Swiss Beats as an inspiration, and he wants to have his own legacy like his older brother. So, he shouts out Angela and tells her congratulations. And the vibe is a little bit awkward between Angela and Christinia, and it's been that way since last season. So now we get to Romeo. He's getting dressed for what I assume is the party. And the next thing you know, he sees that Angela's engaged. He didn't know anything about it. So he's like, wow, this is like caught off guard, because, me and Angela have great chemistry. We're super close. We've been friends forever. So he's like, I would have liked to have known, not along with the rest of the world, but I would have liked to known at some point, that this is what's going on. I would have liked a courtesy text or something. So, he feels a certain kind of way. And it makes sense, but at the same time, if you and Angela haven't really been talking and it's been kind of awkward, I can understand why she didn't want to text you. And even he said, well, maybe Angela's fiance doesn't want me and her texting each other because of our relationship. I don't know. I don't know what could be the reason why Angela hasn't texted me and told me the news. So I guess he sends a group text to everybody and he's like, listen, I'm not coming because you tell Andre I said happy birthday. And then he said, oh, by the way, nice ring, Angela, WTF. So Angela felt the way and she's like, you know what, I'm over this. I don't feel like dealing with this no more, and she storms out. So Christina is like, well, what happened? Why is she leaving? Is she mad? What's she mad about? So that scene ended there. Now we get to Romeo and Master P, and he's still bothered by the news of Angela's engagement. But Master P is like, listen, we got bigger fish to fry. We got bigger problems. Your mom is suing us and whatnot. And her lawyers seem to think that Master P is hiding money and through Romeo, and that's not the case. So she's suing him and she's suing Romeo. She's trying to take the business, everything from them. So Master P at this point is like paranoid. He's like, listen, I feel infiltrated. I feel like we can't trust nobody, so we have to stick together. We can't trust nobody right now because everybody is out for self and everybody wants money, money, money from us. So we can't trust anybody. And I'm like, that's a sad way to live, but it is terrible for a parent to be doing this to their own child. Like, if you're bitter, be bitter with the dad. Be bitter with the fact that y'all divorced, your relationship didn't work. Okay, don't take it out on your child. It's one thing to take it out on another adult. It's another to take it out on your child because your children have nothing to do with it. They're not the reason why y'all broke up. Y'all broke up for whatever reason y'all broke up. Leave the kids out of it. I hate when parents do that. So now we get to Peppa in Egypt. And Egypt is trying on prom dresses, but she's like, I'm about to graduate, but I'm having a hard time because I really want to tell my mom that I don't want to go to college right after high school. I would like to focus on music and not so much college after graduation because I feel like it'll be too much on me. So I'm like, Egypt, you already know how your mama is. 1 and 2. If you sound anything like how you sounded last season, you might just want to go to college. Because not this... no. No, I'm not going to sit up here and lie. Last season, Egypt couldn't sing. She couldn't sing. She had like a dead personality. Like, I mean, maybe this season she'll shock me. I don't know. But last season, I didn't see it for her at all. When she sang, I mean, she has the look, but the personality and like the spunk, like her mother, she doesn't have it. Like her personality is very dead and depressing to me at times, and then like she couldn't sing. But we'll see this season. Maybe she practiced or whatever, because usually if you are a singer or whatever, if you're an entertainer and that's what you really want to do, you're going to practice your craft, So anyway, she goes on her phone and she finds out about Angela being engaged. And, Peppa is like, oh, well, I'm just curious to know if she's still a virgin because, we were told that she was a virgin and we believe her. I still believe her, whatever. So, Egypt's boyfriend is calling and, she's on the phone and she's talking to him. And Peppa is, Egypt knows that Peppa does not like her boyfriend. So her boyfriend is on the phone. Now, mind you, I can see why Peppa does not like her boyfriend. And once again, because what I do a lot, and I mean, I do it, I do it all the time now. I try to put myself in other people's shoes. But now that I'm a mother, I put myself in the shoes of the parent and I put myself in the shoes of the child. And I remember what it was like for me at that age to like somebody or love somebody where I didn't know, my mother knew, but I didn't know that they were treating me like crap or, but in my mind, I love him. I'm in love with him. He's the love of my life. So basically that's what's going on in this scene. Her boyfriend calls, she's telling him, and Peppa's telling her to tell him, listen, we're trying on prom dresses, he don't want to ruin this moment, blah, blah, blah. So Egypt is on the phone and she's like, yeah, I'm trying on my prom dress or whatever. And Egypt is like, my mom doesn't like my boyfriend. And, it's only because we've been having crazy arguments lately, but we love each other. And, my mom just has to accept that. So I'm sitting up here listening to him speak to her on the phone. And he's like, oh, yeah, if you're getting a prom dress, make sure you don't get anything slutty because we all know how you like to show your ass. So I'm okay. I'm gonna start it off innocent. The 17-year-old girl in me was like, okay, I'm gonna ignore that and I'm gonna just take that as a sign of, he he jealous, he jealous, he just trying to protect me. That's the 17-year-old girl in me thinking this, right? But the mother in me was like, oh no, this Negro did not. First of all, how he's talking, he sounds very controlling. He sounds like he's abusive. If he's not physically abusive, he is mentally and emotionally abusive. Because I'm like, my dude, that's something that a person that's something that that's how an abuser talks. Make sure you don't get nothing slutty because I don't want nobody looking at your ass. Oh, you showing your arms? You showing your arms? You want him to look at you? You want attention? Like, that sounds very controlling. And I'm like, Egypt. Oh my goodness. But then we got to keep in mind, remember, that's how Pepper first relationship, the guy she had her son with, he was abusive. And then when she was with Tretch was abusive, according to Pepper in her book. Y'all ain't read her book? Yeah, read her book. Her book was good. But yeah, history repeating itself. I got a feeling this dude is abusive to Egypt just by this little conversation. I was like, whoa. So, Pepper is annoyed. Pepper's like, listen, he needs to get off the phone. He's ruining a moment right now. So, and he doesn't need to be on the phone. So she took the phone away from Egypt and was like, listen, you're going to have to call her back. We're trying on dresses, da-da-da. And he's like, are you threatening? She's like, well, I'm not going to say anything right now, but we'll talk soon. We'll talk. That's all Pepper said. And he's like, are you threatening me? I'm only a child. You don't threaten me or something like that. And I'm like, but my dude, you were just sounding like a grown-ass man on the phone. Like, so Egypt snatches the phone and she's like, listen, I'll call you back because it's too much right now. I'm doing something and, I'll call you back. So Egypt is like, why would you snatch the phone? She's like, I don't like him and he pissed me off. So Egypt was like, well, if I had any chance of telling her about not wanting to go to college, now is not the right time because, my mom feels like she can control me in my, personal and my professional life and now in my love life. So there's no talking to her about not going to college now because when she started, she ain't stopping. So I'm like, Egypt, good luck with that girl because... and I hope you okay with because it seems like you need to start making better choices. So now we get to Romeo and Symphonique. And Symphonique is an artist on No Limit. And, I mean, I think she was on Nickelodeon. I think she had a show. I forgot the name of the show. But, the little snippet they show, Symphonique doing her thing or whatever. So she's working on her music. And his friend calls and asks about the engagement. And Romeo's like, listen, I'm just as shocked as the rest of the world. I don't know anything. I would have liked the courtesy call, a text from Angela. I got nothing. So I'm just finding out with the rest of y'all. So, basically stop asking me questions because I don't know anything. So Symphonique is like, wow, you did say at one point that you did fall in love. Do you think that Angela is the one that got away? And, he's like, yeah, the only reason why we didn't get together is because the timing wasn't right. Timing is everything. So, if the timing was better, then maybe we could have worked something out. But I didn't know that she met somebody and she fell in love like that, So he's like, I'll just send her a text and I'll just, take the initiative and just put it out there and just congratulate her or whatever. And Symphonica's like, yeah, just break the ice. It doesn't need to be like awkward or anything. So now we get to Angela and Vanessa, and they're discussing wedding plans. Angela's excited. She doesn't want to be stressed or whatever. So Christina, texts Angela, and she's like, hey, what are you up to? Can we hang out? And Angela's like, yeah, you can come to this restaurant me and my sister at or whatever. And she's like, okay, cool. I'll see you guys in a bit. I just want to clear the air. So Angela's like, I don't know what's really going on. So Vanessa is like, well, why didn't Romeo come to the party? And Angela's like, well, your guess is as good as mine. I have no clue why. So, but I do know that I'm gonna see him at Master P's talk show. So, we'll see what happens. So Christinia arrives, and she comes in and she's like, listen, I just want to clear the air. About the situation with me and Romeo. I know there's been a rumor out there stating that me and him had a threesome. Nothing happened. It is what it is. We're not together. Nothing happened. I wouldn't do that. And Angela's like, listen, I'm fine. I've been fine. It hasn't bothered me or whatever. So, Christina is like, I'm super duper excited for you. I can't wait to meet your mystery man. And Angela's like, well, yeah, for sure. You guys will meet him. But when Angela said that, I'm like, Angela don't sound so sure she want any of these people to meet her man. And I mean, hey, it is what it is. Keep your private life private. So now we get to Egypt and Pepper, and Egypt is in the studio writing down lyrics or whatever. And she's like, see, this is why I want to take time off from school, because I'm so focused on music and I just have so much songs that I want to do or whatever. And I just feel like, I won't, if I'm not worried about essays and homework and tests and all that, and I'm just focused on music, I'll be good. I just want to take a year off from school. So she said that Pepper walks in and she's like, oh, I'm just working on music. And she's like, I have a track here that I already did. I'm going to play it for you or whatever and let you hear it. So the name of the track was called It's Our Time. And, it bumped a little bit. Her voice sounded a lot better. And Pepper is like, well, what do you mean by it's our time? And, she's like, well, what I mean is that, it's your time. No matter what you want to do, whatever endeavor you like to do, you just follow your heart, follow your dreams, and you'll be good. So that conversation kind of veered towards Egypt's not wanting to go to college, but she didn't outright say it. So Pepper was like, listen, I really want you to go to college because when I was your age and I wasn't, I had a deal and everything, Salt told me, you ain't got to go to school. We got a deal. You could drop out or whatever. And she's like, I wish I would have gotten my education because contracts and all of these fancy people having these fancy meetings, speaking their fancy words and whatnot, people take advantage of that. The lack of knowledge, people take advantage of you not going to school and finding out the logistics and finding out the basis of signing a contract or becoming an artist or whatever. Like, people will really take advantage of you and they'll rip you off. This industry is dirty. Like, a lot of people are for self, so you gotta have your education. You gotta have something to fall back on. Like, music is gonna always be there, but in education you really do need it to, like, be smarter and be more wiser. Oh, more wiser? That didn't even sound right. Be wiser in this industry. And she's like, I wish I would have continued my education. That way I wouldn't have gotten screwed over in my career. And she's like, yeah, but you're a legend, Mom. You started when you were my age, and you're a legend now. She's like, yeah, but I went through a lot in my career just to get here. I don't want you to go through that. So Peppa is like, I just want you to go to college and I want you to be a step ahead. I lost a lot because I didn't graduate college. So I'm like, that's good word of advice that Peppa is giving Egypt. But I will say this again, the me agreeing with Peppa, that's the mother side of me. But that 17-year-old girl, that 17-year-old girl, why do I keep putting a D at the end of girl? That 17-year-old girl again is thinking like, Egypt says she wants to take a year off from school. Cool. What I think, and this is my advice to any kid that they feel like they're not ready for college, I honestly would say only take a year off from school if you feel like you're not ready at that exact moment. Reason being, You'll save your parents money. That's one. Two, you'll save yourself the headache. I wish I would have taken a year off from school after I graduated high school, because when I went to college, the fall after I graduated high school, I was depressed. I hated it. I hated school so much. I purposely did not have the motivation, not even purposely, like, I didn't have the motivation anymore to want to be in school and to want to actually pass. Like, I was just getting by through the skin of my teeth. And sad to say, I got kicked out of school. And when I did, that was like the best day of my life, because the school that I was at, I didn't want to be at anyway. So when I got kicked out, they sent me to a community college. And when I got to that community college, the vibe was different. Everything fell into place for me. And I'm like, oh man, if only I would have taken my time and taken a year off from school and just figured out what I wanted. Because by the time I got to the community college, I already know what I wanted to do. When I was in high school, I wanted to do one thing, but as I got older, I found out that I was more passionate about working with kids. So, well, yeah, we're going to talk about my life a little bit, then I'm going to get back into the episode, and I'm going to tell you why. So, by the time I got to this community college, they had my exact major. The classes I loved. I was very motivated. I was studying hard. My grades were good. My grades were okay. Like, I had what was I think my GPA was like a 2.6, 2.7, something like that. But my GPA was much better than it was in my other college. I was on academic probation like 3 times at my other school because I was not motivated. And when I got to the next college, I was very motivated. But I had to leave that college because 2 years after, I got pregnant with my son. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put school on hold for a bit, and I'm going to have my baby, take care of my baby, and then I'll come back to school. Surprise, I had my daughter. So now that my kids are older, like, they're 4 and they're 2 now. Now that they're a little bit older, my son is in daycare. My daughter's about to be in daycare. As soon as my daughter goes to daycare, I'm going back to school because I only got a little bit of credits left. Going back to school, finishing up. I purposely did not get my degree because I found out a little secret about degrees and whatnot. If you want to know the secret, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at Tisha Denise. But yeah, I found out a little secret about degrees and whatnot. So I was told that it was better that I transferred rather than get my degree and then go on, get my associates and then go on and get my bachelor's. So I'm in the process of transferring now to finish off my degree, and hopefully soon, within the next year or two, I'll have my bachelor's degree. So, moral of this story, that was a little Tisha Denise life moment. Moral of the story is, I advise every kid who is about to graduate high school to take a year off if you feel like you are not ready to go to college. If you're ready to go to college, by all means, dismiss this message, dismiss everything I just said. But if you feel like you are not ready to go to college just yet, take a year off, get a job, because you're not going to take no year off and be mooching off your parents. You are now considered a young adult. Make sure you got you a job, a little part-time job, anything that gets you a little bit of paper. Get a job, work, stack your cointages. And then if you feel like you're ready to go back to school within the year, do so. Or even start small as it pertains to school. Go to school part-time. Get you a part-time job. Just do something. Don't just lay around mooching off your parents. Get you a nice little job that'll keep some money in your pocket. If you feel like you want to go to school part-time, go to school part-time. If not, just work. But that's my advice. I mean, whether you take it or not, it's totally up to you. But that's my advice, because you don't want to end up years later resenting the decision to go to college, and you've wasted all these years and you still didn't really get anywhere. You wasted money because tuition plus books and all of that in college, forget it. That's money that you can't get back. So that's why I advise a lot of kids who are on their way to college, If you feel like you're not ready for college, college will always be there. Take your time, take your year off, get yourself together, and then if you feel like you're ready within a year, go to school. Because college is not for everybody. Some people go to the army straight out of high school. Some people go to trade school. Some people go there's a lot of things that people do after high school. Don't feel like you're obligated to have to go to college. If you feel like college is not for you, then college is not for you. College is not for everybody. But I'm just saying, start small, and if you feel like you're not ready to go to college, then take that year off. Make sure you work, though. You must have a job. You can't just be laying around. That's lazy. So that's my advice. I know that was long. It was a lot, but that's my advice. So now we get to Master P's radio talk show. And there's a lot of weird tension, Everybody's there except for Egypt. Egypt wasn't there. But Romeo walks in and he sits like next to Angela, but not so much next to Angela because like a big wide space in between them. And she didn't even look at him the whole time he was sitting there. Like she never once stared at him. So everyone could feel the tension in the room, and it's just awkward. So they jump right into the threesome question, and they ask Romeo, did you have a threesome? So, Christina is sitting there like, oh boy. So Romeo was like, listen, whatever your imagination, whatever you think happened in your imagination, use your imagination. That's what happened. So Christina is like, really, Romeo? Are you trying to put on for the cameras right now? So they asked Christina, and Christina is like, listen, I'm going to shut down the rumors right now. Nothing happened. Can we move on from this? Nothing happened between me and Romeo. Nothing ever will. So Christina is like, so you trying to put on for the cameras right now? I mean, if you trying to put on in front of Angela, I mean, she's engaged. She ain't even with you no more. So let's not go there, boo. And I'm like, oh, Christina. Oh, all right. So Boogie is like, listen, I want to know who Angela's mystery man is. And Angela doesn't really want to answer. She's like, listen, in due time, you guys will find out. I'm just not with sharing everything in my life with the public. So, she's like, she doesn't want to talk about who her fiance is. So then Boogie, he's talking about how he was a virgin from the age of 1 to like 12 because his father was calling him the last American virgin at 11, and when he lost his virginity at 12, he was popping bottles. I'm like, because Damon Dash has issues. That's why. So Angela's over the questions. They're asking her, are you still a virgin? Are you marrying a virgin? She's like, no, I'm not marrying a virgin. Can we move on from it? And left it at that. So then they ended the radio show, and Master P is like, listen, I want to invite everyone over for dinner at my house or whatever. So at the dinner, he's hoping that the dinner will break the negativity that was going on during the show, i.e. the questions that made everybody uncomfortable. So Boogie is joking and flirting with Tamara, and he's like, listen, Angela, tell me where your fiance got your ring from, because I'm about to get that ring and get it for Tamara or whatever. So Angela's like, oh my God, you are out of pocket right now. So they were saying, like, having this conversation, talking about why do good girls go after bad guys or whatever. And Angela's like, listen, there's good guys out here that pretend to be good, but they're really bad. And there's bad guys out here who are actually good. They just bad because they have their reasons. She's like, it could go both ways. But, she said every good guy that I've been with must not have been a good guy because they broke my heart. And I'm like, well, that's how it be sometimes. There are good guys out here that put up a front like wolf in sheep's clothing, who put up a front like they good guys when they really not. They a waste of time. So I understood that, completely and totally. But Romeo is sitting there, and he's like, I know she ain't talking about me. She can't be talking about me. I'm like, listen, Romeo, if the shoe fit, lace that up and wear it, okay? Because last season you were playing with Angela's feelings. 1 minute y'all liked each other, the next minute y'all didn't, the next minute y'all like y'all wasn't making up y'all mind. And it was mostly you that was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to be with you. So that's mostly the reason why I'm sure Angela moved on. So now we get to Master P and Romeo, and it sounds like Master P is recording a diss record or a record for sure inspired by the situation between him and his ex-wife. So he's like, this this record is about my personal situation, but it's also a record for anyone who's trying to repair a broken relationship. And Romeo was like, yeah, the one thing I love about music is that music is therapy, because this song could relate to my dad and my mom and me and Angela, and we're just trying to pick up the pieces and trying to figure out what went wrong and just try to make it right again. So a guy in the studio that was with Romeo, he's like, yo, look at the guy who Angela's engaged to. And she's like, he's like, oh, here's his mugshot. And they bleeped out his face, but you can see he got cornrows or something like that. So it basically ended there. This episode was really, really good. Like, I feel like this season is gonna be much better than the first season. Like, not to say, oh, excuse me, not to say that the first season was bad, but the first season was very cheesy a little bit. It was cheesy, like, because it seemed like they were doing too much with trying to make these kids, yeah, they're the kids of hip-hop legends and hip-hop royalty, but it seemed like they were putting too much emphasis on that fact and not enough emphasis on the fact that, yeah, these are kids who are well, not kids, these are young adults who are, the children of rap legends, R&B legends, or whatever. So it makes sense. But it's like this season, like, everybody's issues is coming to the forefront. Like, supposedly Boogie has a drug problem or a drinking problem or something like that. And of course, Angela and her engagement and her baby, Romeo and his lawsuit with his mom, Christina confronting her father about possibly having a secret love child with Janet Jackson. Like, all of these issues is coming to the forefront, and I am here for it this season. This was a good episode, and I got to see it early because Optimum is awesome. Optimum be having, like, the first episodes of shows early. That's what I love about Optimum. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I got to watch this episode early, so this is gonna be an early vlog, but it's gonna upload like right after that episode airs. I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, but thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is a long video. I had a lot to say. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll be uploading as much as I can this weekend because I'm not going to have my daughter, so I can have a minute to, record the videos with no interruption or whatever. So, yes. Empire, loving hip hop, anything that I missed will be up this weekend, and I will be back on the ball. I told y'all I'll be on it. But thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.